to Good News Week, coming tonight from a shed out the back of Alan Bond's place in beautiful downtown Perth. It's time to say farewell to that good news year, 1998, a year which saw the Asian economies, Monica Lewinsky and Pauline Hanson, all go down in a heap. And aren't you glad there aren't any photographs? It was a year Bill Clinton learnt not to trust anyone in a black beret who wants to blow you away. And that was just Saddam. The day after the airstrike stopped, Hussein got a call from Linda Tripp telling him to hang on to the bombed-out hospitals and schools. You never know when you might need them, honey. More importantly, it was a year Clinton discovered that the most dangerous biological weapon of all was the one sticking out of his Y-fronts. A year in which it was revealed Australian cricketers, Mark Waugh and Shane Warne, were fined for selling information to an illegal bookmaker in 1994. The Australian Cricket Board fined both players several thousands of dollars, but Warne suffered the greatest loss. He was banned from Pizza Hut for a month. His deep fryer was confiscated, and his weekly pork fat allowance was cut in half. A year in which a former Taxation Department worker allegedly sent dozens of letter bombs to government employees. Federal police have warned anyone thinking of conducting a copycat campaign over the New Year period that it'd be cheaper if they remember to put bomb only on the envelopes. Traces of Legionnaire's disease were found in the water supply at Buckingham Palace, and 2 Legionnaires were found playing nude Pictionary in Prince Edward's bedroom. Australian phone sex companies were forced to tone down their raunchy late-night TV commercials after potential customers complained they weren't actually making it to the phone. And John Howard promised a federal election campaign which wouldn't dwell on personalities, mainly because neither party has any. It was a year that proved Sydney can organise the Olympics just like North Korea. A year that proved Melbourne can organise simple gas supplies like North Korea. And a year that proved Brisbane can organise simple electricity supplies just like Melbourne. In a year when our politicians reached greater heights than ever before, the blinking Brian Harradine, the never-ending Mal Colston, the deceptively stupid Pauline Hanson, Jeff Kennett, and there's the support group over there. Jeff Kennett came up with a corker of an idea. Pay MPs a salary bonus based on their performance. Kennett says there should be a body outside Parliament which judges, the performance of politicians. There is, Jeff. It's called the voters. On the other side of politics, Kim Beazley invited his new backbenchers to come up with ideas on how to freshen up Labor Party policy. Beazley does need a new image. The slogan, Kim Beazley, he didn't lose by as much as we thought he would, just isn't working. Beazley was hoping star recruit Cheryl Curnow would have some suggestions, but all she's come up with so far is, go ask Mary Delahunty. Ooh. The good news is the Labor's suggestion box has already received a few anonymous submissions, and the same one has come up several times. But Kim Beazley says while he does like John Howard, it's not in that way. In a year when morale in Australia's defence forces hit an all-time low, the Navy admitted 95% of its recruits would struggle to swim 100 metres non-stop, and about 2% are so afraid of water they require special help. How are we supposed to scare the pants off illegal Indonesian fishing vessels if half the patrol boat crew are wearing floaties? Of course, being able to swim is just one of the requirements expected of naval recruits. Collins-class submarine crews have to be able to hold their breath for up to 3 weeks at a time. One of the biggest stories of the year, the Prime Minister finally agreed to look at the possibility of considering the idea of thinking long and hard about the suggestion of drawing up a formal document of Aboriginal reconciliation. John Howard told the Reconciliation Council the document should start with, "We are all Australians together," then continue with, "But some of us are more Australian than others." Howard says he wants the reconciliation document to be inspirational and aspirational, although an apology from him would still be improbable, inconceivable, incompatible, implausible, untenable, unfavourable and irrational. Ladies and gentlemen, is the good news. Thank you. Good evening. Tonight in the final conflict, former radio personality Mikey Robbins, the mythical Margaret Scott, and the illustrated man of the moment, Anthony Morgan. And they're trying to get to the party before the subversive Julie McCrossan, the substantial Adam Spencer, and the sublime Joanna Sweet. Are you ready, world? All right, then. Mikey, Margaret, Anthony, what's the story here?
What? Where?
Here.
Oh, there.
Saddam Hussein.
All right, right.
Saddam Hussein, coffee and lunch, sexiest man in politics. Well, baby. On the left, I know that's Margaret Scott, the early years, the musical.
No. That's Pamela Anderson.
Of course, famous for her Baywatch and under-the-counter video work.
Right.
A little bit like Ray Martin. Oh, no.
Go back. You don't want to visualize that.
Yes, it's to do with...
Should we do something with these three pictures in any way?
Yeah, I think what you've got to try and do is put them together and come up with a story, the connection.
It's to do with our UN sanctions against Iraq. And
Which have been going on for some time.
Since Puss was a kitten. And apparently one of the only things that can get in are essential medical supplies.
So they've been pretending that other things are medical supplies.
Like guns.
Like guns. No, apparently Saddam asked for got a shipment in of quite a lot of silicone breasts and Viagra.
Viagra?
Apparently the idea was he was going to fill a swimming pool full of silicone breasts, take the Viagra and roll around in it all night.
So Pamela Anderson takes Viagra, is that the...
No.
Well, basically it's getting silicone implants and Viagra smuggled into Iraq as medical supplies.
Yeah, right, ladies and gentlemen, 5 points! A UN-approved shipment of essential medical supplies sent to Saddam Hussein this year included French underwear, acne cream, a liposuction machine, breast implants, and 5,000 Viagra pills.
Paul, that's amazing. That's my Christmas list.
The Viagra... Whoa, she's talking again.
I see that people at the Viagra plant in Sydney have been given a very large increase in pay.
Why?
And the joke around the place is they've had a good rise.
I finally figured out who writes the jokes in the Christmas crackers.
The Viagra implants and underwear are actually destined for the military. US Marines will be too stunned to shoot at anything when Iraqi troops leap out of the trenches in crotchless knickers with hooters like tawny peaks and bayonets strapped to their erections. I really hope the Viagra wasn't for Saddam. With 5,000 pills, he'll have a hard-on for 3 years, which means as sure as hell he's going to want to invade something. Speaking on Iraq TV this week, missing his trademark moustache, but wearing a halter top and wonder bra, Saddam, or Simon, as he now prefers to be called, said he's not only ready to talk to UN inspectors, he'd also like to bring them back to his palace and inspect his throbbing weapons of mass destruction. Julie, Adam, Joanna, fill us in.
Okay, a big explosion.
Yeah, party at my place. 8 guys that weren't invited to the party.
I know, BHP, some sort of BHP gathering, and, oh, that's a Melbourne building, isn't it?
Incredibly small by the standard of the upcoming 48 million billion kilometre Grollo Tower, and I just want to say what a fantastic little landmark that's going to make.
That's enough, you smart aleck intellectual. At least bloody Grollo's having a go. Jeff Kennett is going to honour Bruno Grollo after he finishes constructing the tallest building in the world by constructing a giant statue of Bruno standing next to the building like that, showing just how tall it is.
Right. Do not let Melbourne beat you. I think you need a huge building and beside it a giant quokka.
What this is about, Paul, what this story is about is the collapse of infrastructure in the Southern Hemisphere. It started with your power blackouts in New Zealand. Then Sydney's water goes poisonous. You as much as look at a glass of water in Sydney, you die. Everyone in Australia turns to Sydney and goes, ha, 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 ha. And then the people in Melbourne start going, ha, 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 ha. Gee, it's got cold all of a sudden, hasn't it? The gasworks collapsed. BHP allegedly partly responsible for that.
When they went to all their shareholders and they've gone through, and this is how the stocks are this year, and this is happening, and that's happening, we're going forward. Oh, by the way, we absolutely lost 2 people. But no, don't worry about that, and on to bigger and better things next year.
5 points, ladies and gentlemen, for them. Earlier this year, an explosion at an SOBHP plant in Victoria killed 2 men, put 7 in hospital, and shut down Melbourne's gas supplies for 10 days. But to their credit, BHP didn't try to gloss over it. In a newsletter to shareholders, they clearly and directly admitted that an incident had occurred at the Longford gas plant. Of course it was only an incident. It didn't affect BHP's share price enough to be officially classified as a disaster. BHP denied it was trying to play down the explosion, although the report does describe the thousands of workers stood down as getting the opportunity for some much-needed rest. The fire, which burnt out of control for several days, as taking the nip out of the late September air, and their deep sorrow at the tragedy as whoops. And the Robins team at the end of that vibrant first round are on 5 points. And the McCrosston team are on 5 points. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please welcome to the stage the beautiful Gadflies.
Well, we were walking in the park in December on a hot day. I don't know why I thought I remember there was something wrong. You just seemed to disagree with everything I said. You didn't have to be so mean, just so you could break it clean. Right away I got in my car, started to drive just anywhere. I guess I didn't take things well, I said some things I shouldn't have. I just had to get away somewhere so I could breathe the air. And I didn't want to talk about it right then and right there. If I could count the times you made me cry, it would sound just like a lie. If a cloud was made from every hurt, it would cover up the sky. Well, I built my house on loving you, sat high you knocked me down like a wrecking ball. If I could have just packed my things and walked right out the door, I wouldn't have had to sort through 7 years of what's mine is yours. Boxes full of magazines and books and gifts I never wanted, and an old photograph that showed you leaning on your brother's car. If I could count the times you made me cry, it would sound just like a lie. If a cloud was made from every hurt, it would cover up the sky. Well, I built my house on loving you, sat high upon the wall, but you knocked me down like a wrecking ball. Before the fall, I thought I had a right to happiness. Before the fall, I thought fate was on my side. Before the fall, I thought I had my share of loneliness. Before the fall, well, I still had my pride. You know that I tried. Yeah! If I could count the times you've made me cry, it would sound just like a lie. If a cloud was made from every hurt, it would cover up the sky. Well, I built my house on loving you, sat high upon the wall, but you knocked me down. You knocked me down. Said you knocked me down. If I could count the times you made me cry, you sound like a lie. If a cloud was made from every hurt, it would cover up the sky. Well, I built my house on loving you, sat high upon the wall, but you knocked me down just like a wrecking ball. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, could you please make welcome Flacco?
Tuesday, 2 a.m. I walked into the supermarket. I noticed that many of the vegetables had gone bad. 3 a.m. A seedy passion fruit was seen lurking suspiciously near the figs. 4 a.m. A carrot was arrested for indecent exposure after complaints from neighboring dates. 5 a.m. A pineapple turned bad and threatened staff with its rough end. 6 a.m. An apple was on the turn, but found God and is currently keeping a doctor away. 7 a.m. A rotten tomato threw itself at an unemployed comedian. 8 a.m. Local Christian groups questioned the relationship of 2 peas in a pod. 9 a.m. Terrorist activity was suspected when a punnet of strawberries went off in a bin outside the store. And later that night, a bad egg put me in hospital. It's a cruel world.
Before the show, as we swept the room for bombs, both teams were given 3 clues to a recent tale of the strange but true. Robin Scott and Morgan got Trivial Pursuit.
Here we go.
The Satanic Verses. And the American flag.
It's got holes.
The bloody American Navy fathered half of you people.
And McCrossan, Spencer and Sweet have a feminist.
I have given you the clench fist. I want to burn my bra, but it costs you 8 cents a day because it's from the ABC, so I'll leave it alone.
Stalin
I burnt my bra before the show, but here's a photo.
And this.
I can't believe I have to say this. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
Oh, God, I've been waiting 3 years to hear you say that.
Don't quote me, we'll kick off round 2. Margaret, what are all these people going on about?
We didn't do it for fun. We will resist. We didn't do it for our health.
Obviously, there is a lot of water to go under the bridge yet.
We did it for the long-term benefit of the Australian community. I bloody near had a heart attack when he said they didn't do it for fun.
Because, I mean, he looks like a man who knows he's fun. Like, you know, maybe having 2 iced Vovos after tea.
Well, I don't think it's got anything to do with the Grollo Tower.
No.
Though I have to say that its shadow, you know, will be 10.6 metres long on the shortest day of the year.
Oh, darling, you flatter me.
Which, well...
And like, I love the Grollo Tower like everyone else, and I think we can go on all night waxing lyrical about its phallic connotations.
The subsidisation of the private health insurance in Australia, doesn't it?
No, it's about having an inquiry into the GST, which should have happened a very long time ago, and...
the 18th century.
Well, possibly the 10th century, or something of that sort. Well, that's what it's about.
Okay, thank you very much, Margaret's got 3 points. After weeks of sometimes bitter negotiations, the government finally struck a deal with the Democrats on a 5-month inquiry into the GST. The inquiry is expected to find out that the GST is a tax, it costs people money, and it isn't very popular. While MPs are keen on a GST inquiry, most agree a GST inquisition would be a lot more fun. Then if the vote goes against the government, all those responsible could be rounded up, tortured and burnt at the stake, fueled by old copies of Fight Back. The 2 stumbling blocks for the GST are Brian Harradine, who wants food to be exempt, and Mal Colston, who just wants food. The GST bill will enter Parliament on April 19. They would have done it on April 1st, but a joke this big needs a lot of preparation. Joanna, your game is Spot the Bull. Which one of the following statements came out of Monica Lewinsky's mouth on the infamous phone tapes? Was it, he says they might have found an even better job for me to do? Is it 2, if he doesn't start being nice to me real soon, I could blow it for him? Or is it 3, fuck him and the little motorcade he rode in on? And you have to say it.
I cannot. Well, you have put this charming Australian mother into a very embarrassing situation, inserting that.
On behalf of the other team, we're all waiting for Joanna to answer the question.
No chance.
I'm pretty sure it's not number 1. What do you think, Julie?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's not number 2, Adam.
I'm sorry, but to get the full 3 points...
I know! We could mine the
Am I allowed to use rhyming slang here?
No! Come on,
You don't understand. It's like my grandmother is only little, but she packs a mean punch. And I'm not kidding, the Brentwood Retirement Village would never quite get over this. And I can't do it to her.
Joanna, it's okay. It's going to it's New Year's Eve. Grandma's out.
You don't have to worry.
Come on, let's go for it. What is it?
I must pretend my microphone's going funny. Ask him and the little motorcade he rode in on.
Let's just see if Joanna is right.
Kim and the little motorcade he rode in on.
In a story which gave us a lot of pleasure this year, this was possibly my favourite revelation. Hillary Clinton says she knew her husband was spending a lot of time with Monica Lewinsky, but the First Lady thought they were just praying together. Apparently, Clinton told Lewinsky to think of it as communion, except this time, the flesh represented the wafer. Yes.
You're going to hell, monkey boy!
Yes, Bill and Monica prayed on the floor, they prayed on the desk, they prayed in the cupboard, and a couple of times they even prayed dogma style. But doesn't all this again raise the question of why Clinton did it in the first place? It can't be because Bill couldn't get it at home, because if nothing else, this praying story proves Hillary will swallow anything. Please make him welcome to the stage, the Sandman.
How to be touched without legal problems. I choose to start the story now. They're my lines. 1. Hold your change away from the shopkeepers so they have to reach over the counter and grab your hand to get their money. 2, share the back seat of a cab with 2 other people. If you sit in the middle and the driver's reckless, it feels like an orgy, baby. That's my best line. 3, rainbow markets. These places are full of old acid casualties, wearing Spanish wine bags as moccasins. They're always quite prepared to give a person with a sad face a big hug. Sometimes it's quite hard to get away from them. It's going so well. 4, a firm shower is like an experienced lover's hands. 5, sit down immediately. Somebody vacates their bus seat so you can absorb their warmth. But don't close your eyes though, because it looks like you're about to let off. And they move away. It's nice to be touched. The end.
And now, time for buzzers of death. I hate this game.
But don't the kids love it?
Okay. The teams will face off over a series of current affairs questions from the past year. 5 points if they're right, but they must wait until the question has been completed before they answer. All right, here's where I lose an eye. Let's check the buzzers. Robin's team. That's the proud Australian technology which is taking us into the 21st century. McCrossan team.
Oh! Well, that's a change. Mine's working.
Gee, lucky I didn't look into it to check. Okay, here we go. Question 1. Law and order. After Mark Chopper Reed appeared on ABC TV this year, apparently drunk and joking about murder, media commentators scrambled for the moral high ground. When Liberal Party toady Alan Jones went on Midday with Kerry Ann and spoke to Reed on the phone, what did Chopper say to shut Jones up? Was it